Welcome to ECNTRADE Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration.
Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you for joining me. It was a relatively choppy night as the US dollar index, which measures the greenback strength against a basket of 6 major currencies, edged higher and refreshes its 7-week high around 104.50. This was on the back of some economic data out of the US. According to the US Labor Department, the number of Americans filing for new claims for unemployment benefit unexpectedly fell last week to around 192,000, missing the expectation forecast of 200,000. In a separate report, also confirmed that the economy grew solidly in the fourth quarter, following the government's second estimate of the fourth quarter GDP, which downwardly revised to 2.7% compared to 2.9%, which reflected weaker consumer spending and higher inflation figures in the final 3 months of 2022. Looking ahead, investors now await the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, which is the personal consumption expenditure, PCE, due out Friday. Looking at the current pattern for the Australian dollar, we can see that the market continues to pressure the downside, but it hasn't quite taken out the level of 68 cents, but very close to it. In light of the pattern, the ADX is trending to a bear case, and also the market is holding to a negative case when it looks to the MACD. I feel that in the current pattern, the dollar index can actually rally on from 104.50, where it currently is, to around 106. That would indicate a further risk to the downside for some of the currencies, with the Aussie looking towards 66.5 as initial target, with any upside attempts likely to see a cap on an intraday basis around 68.5. The euro is very much on track to its target, which is seen around 105.25. Even though the RSI is a little bit oversold, but the technicals from the MACD and also from the ADX support the bear case. And therefore, if the dollar does gain, the market should eventually step towards this region and reassess at 105.25, with an intraday cap presently seen around 106.55.65. The dollar yen was a little bit apprehensive in taking the challenge higher. I'm still viewing the cap around 136. In light of the pattern, the market has broken down. So therefore, we could see initial pullback to around 134.25. But if the dollar does strengthen, and like previously on the RSI, we can see the midway point is held respectively, and we could see this pattern would be repeated and therefore look to the top side challenge. So I'm not abandoning 136 as of yet, as if the dollar can break higher to the region of 106 on the index, that could see 136 crushed and maybe even expose the region somewhere around 140 to 142 for dollar yen. Looking at sterling, the market's still respecting that key level of 119.45 and presently coasting to a flat case after last night's price action. But I like the way there is a little bit of support coming from the RSI and the MACD together that may indicate that we would see a rise from where we currently are, around 120 to around 121.5, or at least where I've outlined here to about 121.70, and reassess from there. We did see some good supply return, and this may eventuate again. Finishing up with oil and gold, we can see the market still remains somewhat vulnerable to the downside as it pressures the level of 1,820. A break of this region exposes the next region of 1,786 to 89, with any advancement likely to see a cap around 1,833 and a firmer around 1,844 to 45. Well, the market found initial support as it headed closer towards the region of 72.40.60, and from the rebound, the market's finding resistance now roughly around 75.40.60. In light of the pattern, we're not fully confirmed to this candle that's come through overnight, and with the RSI still holding in negative territory with the MACD and a bearish case from the ADX, may see this level abandoned and look back towards the bottom side of this range around 72.40.60. Well, that wraps it for the morning. Thank you very much for joining me, and as always, look out for the interest rate report. I hope you enjoy the great start to the day.